one of the things that I look at before going into the game is just have a look at some of the settings before we start. So I've always got autosave on. Now this game is made by a small publisher, and I think only two people worked on this originally. But it is for me. There are sometimes some bugs, so I like having this option to have the autosave every 5 or 10 minutes or so. I do use the metric system because although, for example, when we're looking at aviation and we're looking at feet off the ground for how high a plane is flying, um, a lot of this game is you're not going to be looking at that. It's going to be looking at room sizes and stuff. So for me, that's why I'm using the metric system. It also means that my temperatures are in Celsius and not in degrees Fahrenheit. Currency pound sterling, being based in the UK, that makes sense to me. Clock setting 24 hours, so it's set to how the time displays for flights in real life. When incidents occur normal time, I've just got that clicked, so it just progresses in real time. Pause game on start, I also have clicked just in case it loads, and if I'm doing something else at the same time, it just means that the game isn't going to continue without my knowledge. Passenger per flight ratio, so this is, let's say an aircraft has 100 passenger capacity. This means that if it's at 100%, then 100 passengers can board that, and it gives a real sense of realism. Now, if your computer is struggling to handle this, it's stuttering, you can always reduce this down. I haven't used the alternative drag method, so I'm not going to click that. I'm not actually. Okay, so it changes the method of dragging objects, the old method, to click to pick up object, then click to place object in desired location. So I'm just keeping the new method. It's what I've always used, but feel free to have a play around and see what you prefer. Realistic international stands, that means that passport control is in place. Schengen visa rules, it removes the need for passport checkpoints for if your airport's based, let's say in Germany, and you're going to France. Enable tutorial window to pop out when completed. Yep, we're going to have that enabled. Auto connect boarding desk to stand. Yep, we've got that ticked as well. It just saves a little bit of setting, a bit of settings when you're playing the game. Enable seasonal Easter eggs. We've got that on. It's just things like the weather and stuff. Will if it's winter, it might snow. Disable max elevator, escalator, stair blocker. We're not going to disable that. I'm going to keep that enabled, and then use realistic fuel types for general aviation. So I've not played without that, but I'm guessing it's either a fictional fuel that's used, which could probably cost on some savings to airline. Controls, I'm keeping them at the default. There's nothing that I choose there. I've just kept it at default. Graphic settings. So my screen resolution, as you can see, is quite low. So I'm going to just put that to 4K, and obviously it's going to restart my game. Okay, which is quite normal. And we're going to go back to the main screen. But I think this is really important, actually, that you have the best graphic settings that your system can handle. I've got 4080. Graphic wise, even on my old 3070, this was running really smooth. I don't have windowed on for this. VSync is on. I haven't, again, if you're struggling with screen tearing and other stuff, you can enable this. I've just kept the default setting as on. Object smoothing, yeah, just I've got this on just to smooth out the edges. I've also got the weather effects on, and also so I'm not going to disable that. I'm going to keep that enabled. And then compress images. Well, playing with many airline mods may cause memory to run out. So if that is the case, you can always put this on. Okay. So yeah. And you can change your cursor color from the default yellow, but I like the yellow, so I'm going to keep that. Again, you can go into audio settings and play around with this, but I'm quite happy with how that's set up for me. You've also got a modding mod, which I'm not going to go through on this tutorial. I have got mods enabled, and the only mods that I've got enabled is airline names, proper restaurant names, fuel names, etc. Just to add that little bit of realism, which you can go in through to the modding. So let's start up a new airport. And it's pretty cool. You can make your person. I'm just going to try and make a very quick model. Um, and pick a nice little suit, and then we'll call ourselves Duke Waterfall, and there we go. So I'm actually going to start in Birmingham, being from the Midlands myself, and I'm going to sort of look at rebuilding Birmingham International into a super airport. Some nice little information about where you select your airports now. We've got things like the climate, the temperature, the wind, etc. What's it normally like? The pressure, humidity. It's a nice little touch. I don't think it really makes too much of a difference in game. I haven't really noticed that on my playthroughs the last few years, but I'm going to continue here, and we are going to call this Birmingham International, and we're rebuilding the old one. So I'm going to use the IATA code, which is BHX. And then you can choose your airport logos. The barcode one's a pretty cool one. I do like that. I'm going to go with the very stylish, sleek, modern sort of airport logo here. Now, I would love playing on a large map. It means I can really max out. Now, airport management mode, you can challenge yourself by going up to extreme. You only have 500,000 in cash. Emergency events are very common. Now, I've normally played this on moderate difficulty just because it takes quite a long time to go through and get extra cash. So you could be there a little bit of a while. It's harder to get your investments. I'm actually starting on easy because I want to build sort of the airport of my dreams and give myself a little bit of a challenge. You can edit in sandbox mode some of these like unlimited funds, unlimited flights, take off emergencies, etc. I'm going to just disable that for now. We're going to start on easy and click launch, and we're straight into the game. So it does take about a minute or two just to load. As you can see, my business names are loading into this game, so when you mod this you might have a slightly longer loading time into the game. But that's really how to sort of set up your game into the first part of the into the game world.